Y'all, they got me. I fell for the clickbait videos and I couldn't resist the urge to try the side hustle. And shocker, I did not make $10,000 in my first month selling printable art. But what was genuinely surprising, despite the fact that I wasn't able to get nearly as many products made as I originally wanted to, I actually did get a few sales. I posted all the details and the stats in my results video, which if you're subscribed to my channel already, then you may have seen that. But in this video, I want to attempt to undo all of the subconscious psychological damage that the clickbait, easy money, get rich quick side hustle videos about selling digital art online might have done to your brain. And I'm going to do that by talking about my own realistic real life experience with you. That way you'll know exactly what you're getting into if you're seriously considering selling products in this niche specifically. Now, I do just want to say this before we jump in. When I'm sharing my experience, it's still based on my unique real life experience. So everyone's results are going to be different. Maybe some people do make $10,000 a month selling digital art that they made in 10 minutes. Probably not. In my opinion, I think they're lying to you for money, but that's just my opinion. So don't take what I'm sharing with you as gospel. My goal is just to share my honest perspective to help you make a fully informed, well-rounded decision when it comes to how you approach your business. Now let's get into it. So the first thing that I wish I knew that I was not accurately prepared for was how time intensive creating products in this niche is. In case you're new to my channel, this Etsy shop is my second Etsy shop that I've launched. I already have a successful Etsy shop where I make and sell digital products and I make passive income every single month. I started that shop maybe like 3-ish years ago now, and I thought because I had that experience and that shop is very successful that launching a second shop would be a lot easier. And I chose to sell printable wall art because I thought it would be pretty quick. But making digital art is not quick, especially if you're not utilizing AI to actually create your art. Now, I stuck to making pretty simple art. A lot of it was like quotes based and motivational. I wasn't really hand drawing anything. I was just putting together different elements in Canva. So it was simple, but it was not quick. And on top of that, I probably spent the same amount of time that I spent creating the actual art, creating the Etsy listing photos to represent that art. It's really important in this niche to really make the Etsy listing covers tailored to the specific product and less tailored to your overall shop brand. Because when you're selling art, people are buying it because they want to curate a specific aesthetic in their home. So you really want the Etsy listing cover itself to represent exactly the aesthetic that they're looking for. This should not look like it's made by an amateur. It shouldn't really look homemade in the sense that a lot of other Etsy niches listing covers can look a little bit homemade. There's not a lot of leeway when it comes to the printable art niche specifically. Aesthetic really matters here. The next thing that I wish I knew was the process of delivering the files to your customers. This process was a little bit different and a little bit more challenging for me to figure out than delivering the files for my first Etsy shop to those customers. And that's because when you sell digital products on Etsy, Etsy actually has a file size limit. So you can't actually upload files directly to Etsy to deliver to your customer unless they're like below 20 megabytes. I think it's megabytes. I don't know. So because of this, when you're selling digital art that you want your customers to be able to print out larger, you have to upscale those images. That way it doesn't come out printed all like grainy and blurry and pixelated. The whole process of doing that, it makes those files a lot bigger. And because those high resolution files are so much bigger, they're bigger than the file size limit that Etsy has. So in order to actually deliver these files to my customers and make sure that it's all passive and I don't have to actively do anything when I get a new order, I had to create like a separate Dropbox account, put each of the files for each of the Etsy listings in their own folder. And then when my customers make a purchase, instead of delivering the files directly to them, I deliver a PDF that has the link to the files in the Dropbox embedded in the PDF. If you're hyperventilating right now because you just heard me say all that and you have no idea what I'm talking about and you don't know how to figure it out, let me know in the comments. I'll make a tutorial for you. All right, next thing that I wish I knew, which honestly I kind of knew, but of course without actually having experience, I didn't know for sure. Since AI image generators exist, there's so much printable wall art being sold on Etsy, and that can make it incredibly hard to stand out organically. So if you want to sell this type of digital product and you want to actually get sales and reach your customers, you pretty much have two options when it comes to your strategy. Your first option is to make extremely niche specific art. So this means picking one specific type of customer and creating printable wall art that is designed specifically for them. So this could be art specifically designed for history teachers' classrooms, posters for dental offices, wall art bundles designed for different themes for kids' rooms and nurseries, and maybe targeting themes that aren't as popular. So instead of just just doing generic pink rooms or blue rooms. You could make a bundle of prints for ballerinas or farm animals, or a specific sub niche that you've done your research on and you know doesn't have as much competition. Now, your whole shop doesn't have to be dedicated to one specific sub niche, but each of your shop sections should have a variety of different products that target that specific sub niche in order to maximize your repeat orders. So if you like the history teacher art idea, you could have one shop section for history teachers, one shop section for preschool teachers, another for English teachers, another for science teachers. Or if you like the dental office art idea, you could experiment with different shop sections for different professions like therapists, nail artists, and other professionals. Now, in addition to making very niche specific art, the next thing that's going to really help you stand out on Etsy is actually going to be to advertise your products. And I'm not talking about paying for Etsy ads, but I actually mean promoting your brand outside of Etsy. So you want to post your products wherever it makes sense to. And where you post your products, of course, is going to vary depending on who your target customers are. So Pinterest is a great place to post art in general. Regardless of your niche, people tend to look on Pinterest when they're looking for home decor inspo that's already curated. And if you're selling to professionals like teachers, nail artists, or lash techs, a lot of times Facebook groups that are related to those industries can be a great place to post your art. Once you start your shop, if you make it a habit to invest a lot of time in promoting or advertising your products on social media, it is extremely important to understand ahead of time that the revenue that you make from your shop is not going to be 100% passive income. I talk about this concept more in another video of mine where I share all of the different passive income streams that I currently have, but the term passive income does not mean that you do zero work and you just sit back and collect money. What it actually means is that you front load the majority of the work, so you put in all of that work ahead of time, and then it takes very little effort to maintain. My first Etsy shop where I sell Canva templates is extremely passive. I never promote those products or that shop anywhere online. I get all of my sales organically through Etsy, through search engine optimization. But on my most recent shop that I launched where I sell digital art, if I wanted to boost my sales on that shop by dedicating time to promoting those products online, the income that I get from that shop would be considerably less passive in comparison to my first shop. And that's because the number of sales that I could get each month would be somewhat dependent on how frequently and successfully I'd be able to promote my products. Now, this is not a bad thing, and it doesn't mean that selling printable wall art is a bad business idea. But if your goal is to make low effort, passive income, and you pick a digital product niche that is highly competitive and requires external marketing, this particular type of digital product probably won't align very well with your goals unless you do some research ahead of time and make sure that you're going with a targeted sub niche that's considerably less competitive than the general printable wall art niche. If you completely skip that step and you just throw up some generic wall art selling to a broad target audience, in order to actually get sales from that art, you're gonna have to turn into somewhat of an online door-to-door salesman. And chances are you were drawn to this side hustle because it's low effort, so your ROI or return on investment just is not gonna be worth it. So if you want to avoid turning into a door-to-door salesman online, but you do want to sell digital art and still be able to make passive income, you can click either of the videos that are gonna pop up here. In this video, I'll take you behind the scenes as I explore some different printable art niches. That way you can see some examples of niches that have lower competition. And in this video, I'll show you my search engine optimization strategy, which is what makes it possible for me to actually make passive income on Etsy and not have to pay for ads or do any social media marketing. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a like before you go, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. If you've got any questions for me, you know where to leave them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.